Today's review is sponsored by Baxter and Bailey because I'm dog sitting this week and I still wanted to get a video out to you guys. Look at the cute doggies.
Watch it, Alan. I'm shooting.
Pin.
Please excuse her, Pin. She's really upset.
I understand.
I really appreciate your advice.
Anytime. You and I have a great deal to talk about.
So, yeah, as you guys can see, I'm not in my typical location because, as you saw from the beginning of this video, I'm dog sitting this week, and it's been a tad busy and hectic, but I still wanted to get a video out to you guys. We're just gonna have to deal with the unfamiliar location for now. So, and please forgive the weird audio quality and forgive the hum of the lights in this room. This was the best room that had the least amount of echoes, and it had the best lighting, so we're just gonna have to deal with that for now. I do apologize, but what are you gonna do? That being said, have you ever had a movie on your radar? It's a film that you know almost nothing about, but it just keeps popping up in your life. You keep putting off watching it for a very long time until one day you come across it again and say, oh yeah, I've seen this movie around, what the hell, I'll check it out. And once you see it, you realize that you put off watching a really good movie that you should have watched sooner. Well, that's what I have for you guys today.
You know how she is, so much like her sister. They were made from the same mold. She'll have this house ship-shape in no time. First the plastic covers will go back, then the fireplace will be sealed shut. It will be just like old times.
Pin is that movie for me. This is a psychological horror movie that I've always come across. I remember when I was a kid and I used to go to the video rental stores, I would always see it on VHS in the horror section. And as I got older, it just kept popping up here and there. It eventually went out of print, and it has yet to get a decent Blu-ray release, but a few days ago I came across a copy of it and I thought, what the hell, I'll check it out. And dear God, this movie was so good that I had to talk about it.
Stan, I'd like you to meet Pin.
Hello, Stan.
We follow a young man named Leon and his little sister Ursula. The movie begins when they're kids. Their parents have high expectations of them, and as a result, they tend to get isolated from the rest of society.
And now, what shall we do with the schoolboy? How about counting backwards by sevens from 100?
100. 93.
Leon ends up making friends with Pin, an anatomy doll that his father used for work. We flash forward and our main characters are now in high school, or they're graduating from high school and preparing to transition to college. Leon and Ursula's parents end up dying in a car crash. The two siblings inherit their parents' fortune and their house. But Leon allows his imaginary friend to move into the house. Pin soon starts controlling Leon's life, and through Leon, controlling Ursula's life.
I want you to go downstairs right now and apologize to him. Now!
No! I am not going to apologize to any stupid...
I'm a fan of Descent into Madness movies. I love May, I love Excision, and I think Christmas Evil is one of the most underrated Christmas horror movies out there. Pin fits perfectly into this genre.
Everything's gonna be fine. Now you'll have your own room.
I like this room, Leon. I hope I won't have to leave it again.
No.
It's not a gory movie, there's hardly any blood in it, but it's so suspenseful. I'm a big fan of blood in my horror movies, I love blood, but I'm a bigger fan of suspense. For me, Descent into Madness movies are some of the most suspenseful horror movies, because it's all about watching someone going insane and knowing that something bad is going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The best thing about Pin, in my opinion, is that it doesn't try to go for a twist ending. There are a lot of movies out there that have some kind of entity killing people, but then it's revealed in a twist ending that the killer never existed. It was the result of a split personality or some other form of insanity. That does work with certain films, but I think it can be even more suspenseful knowing that someone has a split personality and that they're the ones doing the killing, because you never know when that person is going to snap. That's the case with Pin, but keep in mind, this has a very small body count.
I told you to be careful. I warned you about this person. Now look what's happened. He's turning her against us. You must act, Leon, before we lose her.
We hear Leon talking to Pin, but it's made very clear that Pin is not alive. Leon just believes Pin is alive and is doing the talking for him.
You need to get the best education you can get.
That's what Father said. Has he been talking about?
And it doesn't spell this out for the audience. The movie treats us like we're smart enough to figure this out on our own. Pin is an anatomy doll that Leon's father used for work. He was a doctor. He would use Pin to talk to his patients that were kids. Without having to flat out say this, we know that the doctor is using ventriloquism to make Pin talk.
Oh, I'm afraid you're mistaken. 103.2. Would you like to look at it?
It's not necessary, Doctor. I trust you.
We know this is what he's doing through subtle facial expressions. Leon learns to do this as he gets older, but because he's mentally unstable, he can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. In the third act, a character named Stan, who Ursula ends up dating, points out what's going on.
He really believes that that thing is a person. Doesn't he realize he's using ventriloquism?
But it doesn't feel like the movie is telling you this. It feels like something the character would naturally say in this situation. It's like, we figured out what's going on, and the characters outside of this situation have now caught up. This isn't a blood-soaked body count horror movie. There are very few kills in this. The ones we do get are either off-camera or have little to no blood. The kills aren't the point of this movie. It's all about that creepy atmosphere. The tension comes from the relationship between Leon and Pin.
What makes you think Ursula has the need?
She's going out with an attractive young man. Aren't you feeling resentful?
No.
Not even a little?
I don't want to talk about it.
You can tell that Leon does not know how to be an adult without guidance. His parents pretty much told him and his sister how to live their lives, controlling every move they made. But while Ursula was kind of able to wean herself away from her parents' control, Leon was not. You mix that with his mental illness, and you can see why he created the Pin personality.
Aren't you going to observe, Leon?
No, sir.
Might be educational.
He needs an authority figure to guide him. It's a tragic situation. If Leon's parents were maybe a little less controlling, he might have turned out different. That's the tragedy of most Descent into Madness movies. If the main character's life was a little different, things might have turned out better.
I don't want you bringing him in this house again.
Why don't you just sterilize him at the door?
You made me do that, Leon.
Leon constantly says that he wants things to change, but it's clear that he doesn't want things to change too much. He doesn't want to leave home. And if something happens that risks things in his life changing too much, that's when his mental state starts to deteriorate, and Pin's influence on Leon increases.
She is taking over the house. She's changing Ursula. She never kept things from you before. You never had secrets from each other.
Then there's Leon's little sister Ursula, who's the real victim in this situation. She's the one who wants to change. She's the one who wants to become her own person, wants to get away from this life that their parents created for them, wants to become an adult. At one point, she gets a job in a library, and Leon is angry that she didn't come to him first.
You never told me about that.
What just happened?
Well, what do you need a job for? You have plenty of money.
She eventually starts dating this guy, and Leon is afraid that she's going to leave him behind.
It's really important to me that you two like each other.
What if we didn't like each other?
She clearly hates Pin, but because Pin is such an important part of Leon's life, he gets defensive and violent whenever Ursula speaks out against him.
I don't want it sitting at the table, and I don't want it wearing father's clothes, and I don't want it sleeping.
You shut! There's this creepy but subtle incestuous desire that Leon has for Ursula, mainly because of his desire to keep everything in his life the same. He never truly acts on these desires, but you can tell he has them.
He stopped abruptly. It was as if a knife had performed an instant castration. He was looking into the eyes of his sister.
This allows Pin's influence to spread to Ursula. Pin influences Leon, then Leon exacts Pin's will on Ursula. It's frustrating because we want Ursula to get away from Leon. He's clearly mentally unstable, and I can see other people watching this movie getting frustrated with her. This guy is clearly nuts. Get away from him. But because Leon is her brother, it makes things complicated. No one wants to believe that their family member can do bad things.
Leon is a paranoid schizophrenic. No one is ever going to cure him of that. But he's my brother. And I love him.
John Wayne Gacy was married twice and had kids. Jeffrey Dahmer had parents. No one wants to believe that a member of their family can be the bad guy, even if they know the bad things are happening, or they're at least suspicious of those bad things happening. It's hard to get away, and it's hard to separate the fact that this is someone you love doing horrible things. Pin is all about dealing with a family member that suffers from mental illness, not just how it affects them, but everyone around them as well.
How can you live?
Oh, please. Don't. Just hold me for a minute. Don't say anything.
Pin is an interesting psychological character study. If you're looking for a bloody, action-packed horror movie, then you will be disappointed by this one. But if you want a psychological horror movie about people dealing with madness, then I cannot recommend Pin enough. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. I can't reveal the body count without spoiling too much of the movie. The kills aren't the focus anyway, it's all about Leon's descent into madness. There is some nudity with one woman exposing her tits, but other than that, the sexual angles are more suggested. The story is very interesting. It keeps you engaged without having a scare every 5 minutes. This movie is all about the creepy atmosphere. It keeps us on edge by watching Leon's relationship with Pin. I love how this movie doesn't go for a twist ending. Right away we know that Pin is not real and his existence is all in Leon's head. It makes the movie that much more suspenseful. We can't help but feel bad for Leon. Even though he is creepy, you wonder if he could have been different if his life had went in a different direction. We care about Ursula too. She desperately wants to change, but at the same time, she can't abandon her brother. And I respect how this movie is able to be creepy and suspenseful without showing much blood. I may be a gorehound, but I always love my atmosphere. I'm giving Pin a solid 4 out of 5. It's a good psychological horror movie that I wish I watched sooner. As always, I want to thank all of you for watching and supporting my channel. Instead of asking a question at the end of this video, I want you all to check out Pin. You can find it on YouTube. It's a damn good movie that more people should see. Hopefully someday it will get a proper release. This is the Maniac and Baxter here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. He was the easiest one to pick up. You don't like being on camera, do you? Okay, let's let you go, little buddy.